Hey guys, it's Somto at Igbo Shrine. For today's topic, we'll be discussing on the concept of Agwu and the various dimensions of Agwu. And for those of us that are new here, I would like you to subscribe, click the subscribe button and comment and also share. Then, if you have any video specifications, you can always send a DM on our Instagram at ordinala_Igbo, or you could simply visit our website at www.igboshrine.com or simply leave a message. But if you're interested in the subject of Igbo spirituality and cosmology, then you would like to visit our website at www.igboshrine.com. Stay tuned, and I hope you learn a lot with us today. Thank you.
Try to understand what this Agwu is. Agwu, I'm going to explain it in my own understanding, how I see it, how I think the concept should be constructed. So now, Agwu now, but Agbara Ketela Akonuche. When we talk about Agwu, we'll talk about a person's wisdom, Akonuche. And every human being in this life has what? Akonuche. All of us have wisdom. All of us were created with some certain level of creativity. We were created for a certain purpose. That's where Agwu comes in. Agwu also can be defined as the universal mind of God. Before anything happens, Agwu already knows, because we kind of construct it, or we put Agwu in a certain category with the wind. It carries messages from Chukwu, it carries messages from the universe and transmits it to a trained mind. Why do I say a trained mind? Agwu operates in a certain level of frequencies. So if an untrained mind that has an Agwu and is basically getting all this information, there is a possibility that it's going to overwhelm that person. The person could basically be distracted, and the person is like, I don't know what's happening to me. So sometimes we call it, we say, okay, this person is schizophrenic. You can basically relate the concept of Agwu to schizophrenic. That's why we say, like, you see something like I we get concept, we get sayings like this. I'm saying, this person literally went insane because of Agwu. Now you'll be like, why would something God created to mean good, to basically give us, to make us to be very creative in nature, turn around now and basically make people mad? They have actually explained one of it. If an untrained mind that's getting messages from Agwu and doesn't really know what is happening to the person can basically think he or she is running mad. Now, Agwu now is an energy of creativity. What do I mean by that? It's a creative force. It makes you, it inspires you, it gives you visions, it makes you to excel in whatever field you are. If you're a teacher, if you're a student, if you're a businessman, no matter your field, Agwu now creates a well of inspiration. By looking within you, it brings out something special about you. That's why our ancestors, what they did is, once a woman gives birth, they go through the process of Agwu. They try to know who is this child's reincarnator. Once they figure that one out, the next step is try to do the Uru-Agwu process by knowing Onya Agwu. Okay, Arolo Agwu. That's like bringing in everything, like a conglomerate of the person's creative level. They bring it together and condescend it or consecrate it on an opposite, making it to basically bring this child together and makes this child to be focused in life. So what does Agwu do for us in our various lives? As a writer, Agwu has the capability of basically transmitting informations to you. Probably you have a particular niche that you work with. You're probably, like, for instance, me now, I write about Igbo spirituality and cosmology now. Most times in the morning, I wake up and I'm on my bed, and for, let me say, an hour or so, I'm basically having informations that musically I might not have never even have read about it or heard about it. But it's, so most of the time, initially when this started, I was, what's happening? That's what I talking about, the untrained mind. I was like, what's happening to me? Like, this is just basically trying to make me go insane. I was trying to say, okay, have like community of elders basically talking to me, trying to make me go insane. Like, what's happening? So I started writing down these ideas. When they come to me, I start typing, I start writing, and before you know it, I'm trying to like, okay, now this is not my interest, and it kept on removing things that didn't really align with me, because Agwu is capable of, let me say, driving you away from things that don't align to your purpose, to bring you down to what you should be doing. That's when we talk about the concept of destiny. Now somebody will come like, my destiny is to do this. That's what Agwu does for you in the Igbo context. It basically brings you down from wherever you think, maybe say you went into a field because of the monetary gains there, and Agwu is like, no, your chi did not really put you to do this kind of thing. It will bring you down to what you are meant to do. So it creates a well of inspiration. It makes you to be special. It makes you to be outstanding in whatever field you are, in whatever thing you're doing. I will basically make sure that you're going to be exceptional in that field. If you're a baker, that's why you see some people, what they're doing is not really much, but you see they're excelling. They're doing exceptionally well. For a teacher now, even if they give you the dullest child in class, you can be able to teach that child and the child would assimilate it. Agwu has actually lifted you above your counterparts. Now, as a doctor, as an engineer, whatever you are doing, even if you're selling toothpick, you're going to excel in that field because that is your area of specialization. So that's what Agwu does for us now. Agwu, we have different aspects of Agwu. We have different aspects of Agwu, or let me say type of Agwu. We have Agwu Nkanozu. Now, what is Nka? There's an Igbo saying that says, Ome Nka na-emelu onwe ya, mana ọkpụzụ na-akpụla obodo. Now, what is Nka? Nka now, it has to do with creativity. A person, maybe not creativity rather, but an artist. It deals with, I think, an artistic person. Now, bringing it down to artistry, you now talk about a dancer, a musician, people that deals with aesthetics. Now, Ozu now are people that do all these handiworks, like people that craft, seamstress, blacksmiths, welders, iron melters, and potters. Everything that has to do with people that work with their hands. That's where Agwu Nkanozu comes in. Now, this sorts of people now, what Agwu does for them is, most of them can have inspirations of maybe for an artist now. The person could go, I know a friend of mine, she tells you that she's an artist, she's a painter rather. She sleeps, I came to her house and I'm looking at all these pictures of people's face and I'm like, just face. You're like, I don't even know any of them. I've never even seen any of them. All I know is that when I sleep, I basically just keep seeing these faces, and when I wake up, I start painting them. That's her Agwu. She has already found her focus. Now, for an Ozo now, which is a blacksmith, they have the capability of basically producing things that the entire community would use. Like now, that's why the Igbo say it, Omenka, an artistic person now basically just does these things for maybe him or her pleasure. Maybe I like painting or I like dancing, I'm doing it for myself. But also, people that are able to produce the hoe, the spoons, all these things, all these items or materials that we use that are definite to our survival as a human being. That's where it comes in now. Then we now have Agwu Dibia. Now, Agwu Dibia now means that this person is destined to be an intercessor between human beings and the spirits. Now, I've kind of explained about Dibiaship. Dibia means an expert in a certain field, not in a certain field, an expert in historic knowledge. That's what a Dibia is. Now, under this Dibiaship, now we have different dimensions. They include, we have a Dibia Alpha. These are the diviners. Now, these diviners, now they use different divination systems. We have a Afugili. We have a Afokwe. They are like cowries. We have Afoji. We are the people that use kola nuts for their divination as a tool for divination. Then we now have people that use what are they called it again? Ajata. it's kind of out, you would say it. So these are the alpha divination systems, and these people now, these diviners now, they're very intuitive in nature. They could basically have visions or premonitions about things that how that would happen or might happen. Now these people fall under the people that have the Agwu alpha. You get what makes a person a dibia is an Agwu. Every single dibia has a specific type of Agwu. Now we've talked about the dibia alpha. Now let's talk about dibia mkporogu. That are the herbalists. Now this kind of people have the provision to sleep, and they're being taught about things about their certain trade or whatever they are doing, and they wake up and they've never really gone to like a formal school or apprenticed under any herbalist, but they're able to bring these herbs, give it to this person, and it's going to do signs and wonders for that person. This is the work of Alpha Agwu for a person that has that gift. Now we now talk about Dibiara. These are the psychiatrists that we have, the counselors that we have. They fall under this category of Agwu. Now when you bring a bad person, now you now take the person to a psychiatric hospital. Those doctors there, what they have there is Agwu, Ara. Now we now have another aspect of it, which is a Agwu people that, these are the bone setters that we have. They now fall under physiotherapy. I hope you're getting it. Now they now fall under physiotherapy. Now what Agwu does to these people now is, okay, for instance, my mentor told me a story of a man, his age right now, he's literally blind, but he's still a bone setter. According to him, that he was told by Afa that he's going to go back to the village and be a dibia, but he didn't want to be a dibia. He insisted that as saying he's not going to do it until he had a very terrible accident. Then in that his accident, he's on his sick bed, he now had a revelation where they taught him how to set his own leg, how to fix his own leg. He was now told that if you can fix your own leg, this is how you're going to fix other people's legs for them. The man said he's a blind man, but he's still setting bones. So now people that go through the formal education process, now we call it physiotherapy, but our ancestors basically knew about all those things. That's why I said knowledge comes within. As an Igbo man, as a traditional man, you have nature as your source of information. Now, how does our ancestors bring all these gifts together? For a person now that probably you have you're not really a focused person in life. I said earlier that what Agwu does for people is it removes them, it alienates them from things it considers as a distraction, and focuses them towards their destiny, towards the right path, towards where that if they are able to cultivate their knowledge and skills, they'll be able to become progressive, they'll become somebody in life. Now, how did our ancestors how were ancestors able to bring in these skills, this creative, how were they able to bring it? They were able to achieve this through the process of Iru-Agwu. To an extent, you can call it learner-centered education, by bringing somebody, knowing what a person's, by basically knowing what a person is capable of doing and channeling that person towards it. This, we'll talk about the Igbo educational system, we'll talk about the apprenticeship, we'll talk about when people know, okay, in our family, we are known for this particular kind of craft or trade. They will basically channel that person towards that angle. This is what how this was how the Igbo educational system existed in those days. Now, I'll now talk about the Uru-Agwu process, which is the process of nurturing creativity. What do you mean by nurturing creativity? It nurtures the person's creative level, social experiences, and brilliance. Now, what this Uru-Agwu does for you now, it brings everything, every single thing that makes you you, everything that is special about you, it brings it together and consecrates it. When it's bringing it together, it's eliminating all these distractions that we have. It brings you together, it makes you to be more focused. That's why we have testimonies of people that they claim that when they were growing up, they were very rough, but after a certain ritual their parents did for them, they were able to like, they say like, oh, this person has calmed down. This was how our ancestors saw the Iru-Agwu process. You know, that this rite is also a ritualistic rite of brewing and refining intelligence. It brews a person's capability, and then it refines it. It makes a person to be more interactive with the Agwu energy, making the person's creative level to grow at an exponential rate, and make the person to be able to achieve whatever the person's chi has destined for the individual. So why is this right important or necessary? I said here that it's to ensure a smooth psychological transition into full productive adults. It provides a smooth transition. That's how our ancestors were able to do this ritual when a child is still basically a child growing. It paves the ground, creates a pathway, creating the person to be a more balanced individual, socially, psychologically, and brilliant. Now kind of skyrockets this person's destiny or whatever into a more productive adult when the time is right. Now, an antithesis to this concept of Agwu is what we call Uru-Agwu. Uru-Agwu. We call them Uru-Agwu. What do these people do now? These are the vices. Remember, Agwu gives you virtues. It makes you to be yourself. It increases your creative level. It makes you a special individual. Now, what Uru-Agwu does, it distracts you from your focus. Now, what are the vices that we have? We have promiscuity, we have womanizing, we have drunkenness, we have all of it. That's where the Uru-Agwu concept comes in. So what these people do or does is it distracts, it tries to derail you from achieving what your chi and Agwu has positioned for you to do. So how do we fix this issue? For you to become a creative person, or for you to achieve what your chi has destined for you to achieve, we kind of harmonize it through the process of Iru-Agwu. Now, during this process of Iru-Agwu, how do we harmonize this antithesis of Agwu, which is in the Uru-Agwu? How do we harmonize them to prevent them from kind of distracting or destroying what Agwu has already positioned for a person? Now, during the Iru-Agwu process, we bring in 2 stems of Ogilishi. Now, at the back of Obosi, the Agwu, we kind of institute it there. That's their position. And if you want to feed your Agwu, you're feeding your Agwu with your right hand, you feed Uru-Agwu with your back hand. Now, what this thing does, that you've acknowledged that they exist, because in Igbo cosmology, we believe in the concept of good and bad, and we believe in the concept of balance. So no matter what, as I say, wherever there is good, there is bad. Wherever there is bad, there is good. So wherever there is Agwu, there is an Uru-Agwu. So you have to make sure that the both of them harmonize by creating balance. Now, how does this process encourage us or make us better human beings in this modern day society? We have something called Okuneje. We have Ezume Okuneje, Agwu Okuneje. Now, what our ancestors knew was that there will be a time where the concept of moving from one place to another wouldn't just be the concept of trekking or using your feet to basically trek around the whole village or around the whole community or trek from one state to another. They knew that there would come a time where science and technology would come into place, thereby making people not just want to trek, but the concept of mobile cars would come inside, would basically erupt, or basically that's what I'm trying to say. Yeah. So they knew this and they made preparations for it. That's why we'll talk about engineers now. They fall under Okuneje.
So guys, what you're seeing here now is the Iru-Agwu process, and according to various traditions, that's how they do it. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and don't forget to subscribe, like, and also share. Thank you very much.